I think they're very supportive. For our project-based learning, which is on plants, it took us about 2 months to do this. And because it is a longer process, I have found a lot of support, and that is important in educating that. Not just teacher and student, but teacher, student, and parent all work together. And that's part of the collaboration.
Hi, and welcome to the SMA Audio Experience Podcast. It's brought to you by St. Michael San Diego's Technology and Social Media team. St. Michael Academy San Diego is a Catholic school located in the South Bay region of San Diego County. We've been educating students pre-K through 8th grade for over 50 years. On this podcast, we interview and discuss people, organizations, and topics impacting St. Michael Academy and the community around us. When you're here, you're home. Greetings and welcome to another episode of the SMA Audio Experience Podcast. This week we're joined by none other than St. Michael Academy's second grade teacher, Mrs. Jennifer Sumayao. Good morning, Ms. Sumayao. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Mark. It's going well. Thank you for asking.
Fantastic. Let's go ahead and start off with the first question. Can you provide the listeners a trend that you see in your grade level? And by sharing this information, it can add value to parents of, second graders or other, young students, either in the kindergarten or first grade, for their school experience.
Well, I would probably say during the last couple of years, one of the trends that I've seen in the primary grades is the use of technology, especially with project-based learning that I'm doing with my own children here at St. Michael Academy. For those 2 years, we have been using and utilizing iPads and, of course, our desktops in the computer lab. At this point in time, my children this year have started Google Docs, which is something very new for me in this primary grade level. But because we have been utilizing it since the beginning of the year, and myself, including my students, are getting a lot more comfortable using it and being very familiar with it at this point. And like I told you yesterday, I think at this point in the school year, my children and I are at cruise control. So that's a positive. But one of the trends I also see, going back to project-based learning, are the 3 C's. And I call that critical thinking, collaboration, because I absolutely love when they get together in teams and they brainstorm. And when they brainstorm, they realize, wow, there are so many different thoughts and ideas that come about in groups of 3 or 4. And it's just amazing what these children in the second grade classroom come up with. I'm amazed, and they're also amazed when it's all being presented. So it's critical thinking, collaboration in teams, and then finally the communication when they have to go up in front of the class and submit their research and findings and results. It is absolutely mind-blowing, but it is such a positive thing. I would say trend is such a positive thing because, you get your hands dirty. And one of the things that the second graders have been doing for project-based learning are plants. Watering and just watching the stages of a plant life cycle and then asking them that critical question, well, why is it necessary? And the results and their findings and what they submitted and what they presented in front of 2 grades, including several teachers when we did our presentation in the parish hall, was very amazing, and it's one of the trends that I see as a positive.
Fantastic. Can you provide any tips to parents of the younger grade levels, either in kindergarten or first grade, where if they will be joining your class this coming school year in the fall, can you provide any tips to set themselves up to be ready for your grade and your class?
Well, if they have the use of technology at home, it's always nice to get a head start. And I always recommend resources, even if they don't have a computer at home. I recommend going to a public library and going through, websites and doing research even at a young age. For example, we have our International Night coming up for Catholic Schools Week, and our theme is on France. And I have given several websites in my newsletter for the parents to look through to find and help their child research about the country of France and the topics that my own students chose for their report. So one of the things that I would definitely recommend with parents is to get their children already familiar and comfortable with the use of computers and the technology that's going to be, I believe it's going to be that continuing trend in this century where the children are going to be using so much technology. But, Mark, I really believe that when we first start, we're all uncomfortable because it's thinking out of the box. But once you get into that and you become familiar, it's second nature. It becomes a very easy process.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the SMA Audio Experience podcast, brought to you by St. Michael San Diego's Technology and Social Media team. For more information, go ahead and visit our website at www.smasandiego.org. On Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, we use the common handle or username of SMA San Diego, so you can definitely reach out to us there. Leave a tweet, a message, a post, a comment. We'll be happy to engage with you, answer all your questions, and really join in part of sharing the St. Michael San Diego story on social media and on the internet and also via the podcast. So thanks again for listening. Take care, and we'll hear you next week.